So, welcome back to another Caring Support podcast. And hey, this is the first podcast of season 2. We are so excited to start with a true superstar that's working in healthcare and working within the post-secondary institutions levels as well. So, let's welcome the lovely Kaydene Campbell. Hi, Kaydene.
Hi, James. Great to
Hi.
be here.
Likewise, it's great to see you and to have you here. So, Katie, for the sake of our conversation, it would be really great if you could do an introduction of yourself and tell us a little bit more about yourself, which then will lead into our first question about the journey. So maybe you could shed a little bit of light as to who you are, what you're about, etc. Please.
So, I'm Kaydene Campbell, and I'm the Vice President for CLI College of Business, Health, and Technology. I've been working with CLI for over, I want to say, 14 years, and I'm also a registered practical nurse,
Wow.
and yeah, and a lifelong learner. So, I am constantly trying to learn something new every day.
Yeah, that's great. And by the way, when we were talking before this started, and when we saw each other at the conference in Ottawa recently for the National Association of Career Colleges, which you did a great job. You were one of the rock stars in the room, and I loved how you came up to me and were like, "James, how you doing?" I was like, "Who's this?" And then I realized it's like, "Oh yes, I love her attitude. It's great." Okay,
Yeah,
so tell us,
I
yeah.
always try to put a face to a name.
Absolutely. We all
Yeah.
do that, right? And we see each other's maybe LinkedIn profile or you meet somebody on a call like this, and you know what I mean? So, yeah, Katie, this is great. I love your attitude. Okay, so tell us, outside of yourself and with CLI and everything, tell us a little bit about the journey that got you involved with CLI and what it means to you.
So, um, I came to Canada, I want to say 2009, and I got to work as a receptionist at CLI College, like a
Oh,
couple months after I came into the country. And at that point, they were doing, I think they had two programs, the personal support worker program and the developmental service worker program. So prior to that, I used to work with the Ministry of Education in Jamaica in the
hmm,
school's personal department. So education is not new to me. The sector wasn't new. Um, so I started working as a receptionist, and I realized that there's a lot of changes, a lot of adjustments that need to be done.
right.
And so I updated the registry, the system that they have for filing and stuff like that. And the owner at the time said, "Oh, this is good. I've always needed this done," because he was not working full time with the company. And then he had no prior experience, I would say, with what needed to be done.
Right.
And so, with the experience that I had before starting working with them, I implemented all of those changes to the system. And then the system started to work a bit better. A couple of years later, we decided that we were going to add more programs. So, strange enough, I kind of like the PSW program. So I said, let me do the program to see what it's all about.
Right.
So I registered, did the program part time at CLI, and I liked it. And I started volunteering a little bit here and there at the time it was Christian Horizons. And then I said, maybe I should venture into nursing. So, hence the transformation into the healthcare part of my career. I went to Seneca College, I did the RPN program part time. And then I came back, continue working with CLI. And then I was promoted to the administrator for the campus. A couple of years, fast forward a couple of years forward, we decided that it's time for us to venture out. So we opened the Edmonton campus.
Wow.
So every year at the beginning of the year, we would do like the CLI College Vision Board that shows what we wanted to accomplish within that year, and we work towards accomplishing those tasks within the year. So started, as I said, from 2009, and I had a good relationship with the owner, so we worked together to really grow the school. So now we have 6 campuses. We have two in Alberta, one in Edmonton, one in Calgary, and then we have 4 in Ontario.
Well, that's amazing.
One in Shepherd, Hamilton, London, and we have a franchise campus in Scarborough.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
like I said before, I've visited your London campus. I
Yeah.
certainly know the area. In fact, I live like maybe a couple kilometers away at the most. So,
Okay.
yeah. All right. So, because of course we speak to a healthcare audience, tell us more about the healthcare related courses that you have. So I know you have a PSW program. Are there
Yeah.
other programs as well?
Yes, we have the developmental service worker program. We have recreational therapy, gerontology. We have mental health and addictions. We have the home support worker program, as well as you may not think that food support worker is healthcare related, but it can be. So we also have the food service worker program as
Absolutely.
well. Yes.
Yeah, food service worker is actually on our platform as a role. So,
Yeah.
we should talk about some of this afterwards at some point about how we make sure everybody expands and knows all the different areas they can support their students on our platform. Okay.
Mhm.
So, give us an idea though, like the DSW program, how long does that run for?
That program is approximately 49 weeks.
Well,
In inland. So it's quite extensive, and most of our students, once they finish the in-class portion of the program and they go out in the field for their practicum, they get hired.
yeah. And obviously, because there's a lot more to a DSW to some degree, obviously, and you got, you said 49 weeks.
Yes, it is
So
49 weeks.
contrast that with PSW. How long is that course?
PSW is 35 weeks.
Okay. So it's
So
still pretty
what?
intensive.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's great. As it should be, really, right, Kadeen? Because, people need to learn a lot. There's a lot of responsibility they carry. And, we're always talking about how PSWs are not paid or appreciated enough, and that is absolutely true. And that should improve. But, they've got to go to school, and then after that, they're entrusted with the care of people. It's not as
Yeah.
much as a nurse is doing, but certainly they have the ability to make and a difference with people, right?
Well, it's not as much as nurses do, but they're also the eyes for nurses, right?
Right.
Because while a nurse will think about giving medication and do an assessment for the patient, it's the PSW that's always with the patient. It's the PSW who know, because nurses change, right? And then if you have a PSW that is working consistently with a client, they're able to tell you what the client likes or dislikes. They're
Right.
able to tell you any changes that the client may have had over the duration of the care that they have given to them.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And they need that nurses because as much as they got going on, if you've got other people out there that can tell them the certain things because they already know and understand and been trained, then they,
Mhm.
like you said, they become the eyes and ears to,
Ye-
to pick up on those things and note what needs to be done essentially.
Yeah.
So eh, following in line with all the students you have in healthcare programs for all these different healthcare programs you offer, what would be some of the, let's say, general to, whatever kind of advice that you would want to give students?
I would say just continuous professional development, because you may learn something today in the sector and it changes. And because PSW is not regulated, some of the people working in the field don't know about these changes. So continuously reading on what healthcare changes are out there, continuously um, understanding that the complex care that you have to give to your clients, even understanding some of the disease process that your clients have, that comes in handy because it helps you to better care for your client.
Right, right. Okay, excellent. Yeah, I love it. And okay, so give us an idea in the next sessions that are starting or maybe have already started. When is the next upcoming start dates for courses?
So we have the winter semester coming on, and for PSW, we have a class starting January 23rd. And then we have the developmental service worker program. As that along with the mental health program starts February 6th. And then in March, we have the recreational therapy and gerontology, as well as the food worker and the home support worker program.
Okay. Awesome. That's great. So there's always stuff going on at the campuses, isn't there? Right?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So now, how do students apply? Do they go to the website? What
So
was
they can,
what's
yeah, they can go to the website and fill out the application form that's there, and one of our admissions person will reach out to them and invite them in to do the admissions interview as well as the admissions test.
nice? Well, you know what you should take a look at, Katie, and you've been really busy. So it's not always been easy for you to look at, but we have some schools on the platform that are advertising their services, their courses,
Mhm.
and maybe different stuff that allows them to bridge certain things, or somebody wants to be a DSW, et cetera. And we
Okay.
offer that a really great incentive for you guys, and it's very easy to publish on it. So maybe that's something you look at. I'm going to send you some information, okay?
Okay, I'd
Um,
appreciate that. Thanks.
yeah, because it's marketed right to the mostly the applicants and healthcare workers that get on our platform. So
Okay.
yeah, anyway, and we'll take a look at that because that's totally public facing. And I think you'll love it because there's a lot of stuff in there already. You go, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. This is aligned
Mhm.
with our values and what we look to do and how we're helping. So, all right, now I got one more question, but I'm going to add another one, by the way, just
Sure.
because, yeah, but it won't be scary. Okay. Uh, so anything else that you would like to add before I ask you this one last question?
Just so that anyone that's looking to enter the healthcare field now, I would suggest two programs that are really in demand. It's the food worker service program
Right.
and the personal support worker program. But most importantly, the personal support worker program, because no matter what province you go, you're going to be in demand.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
whatever you learn in one province can be transferred to the next province. Yes, there are provinces like Alberta who you have to go through the registry, send your transcripts, and they will evaluate you as, let's say, a healthcare aid student. But
Right.
um, PSW is always in demand, so I think that's a good program if you want to register for a healthcare program.
No, I love it. Well, we're going to be going to Alberta next. So we'll have to
Okay,
talk
great.
some more and work together because we're also engaged in some pretty amazing projects and they could all align. So
Right.
this is good stuff. And Katie, thank you so much. Here's my last question. You
Okay,
ready?
sure.
What's it like being awesome?
Um, it's it allows you to realize that you know what, you just in a world where you can be anything, just be kind
Yeah.
because you don't know what another person is going through. And if you have this demeanor about you, people won't approach you, right? So you have to just be approachable and be willing to listen to what other people have to say. And
Yeah.
if you can help somebody, then help and just encourage that person to extend helping hand whenever they are in a position to do so as well.
No, I love that. That's beautiful, Katie. And I already knew that
Thank
that
you.
kind of magic was in you. And I was really hoping you'd say something like that because that was amazing. As far as I'm concerned, I tell people the most important thing that I think we can do, but I can only speak for myself and what I'm able to
Hmm.
do. But I said that the one thing that I want to do every single day is inspire at least one person
Yeah.
and inspire them because they said that we don't know what people's journey is all about, and the worst thing we can do is judge because everything's from our point of view. And but you know the thing that kills me is I tell people that I'm a quote guy, Katie. So the more you would get to know them, I'll reference different positive quotes and stuff. And my one of my absolute favorite, it goes like this: the most amazing people in this world are the ones that see the beauty in others. And I tell people I want to live by that all the time. But then
Hmm.
I say to people, just remember with stuff that that you like to hear that's a that you take personally and say, oh my God, that was written for me. I needed to hear that, or whatever it might be, which is great. But you need to take the next obvious step. And I tell people, if you believe in that, like I do, to see the beauty in others, do you tell them? And people are like, well, not really. Why? Well, it's fear, isn't it? It's fear of being vulnerable. It's fear of, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell them. He said, well, you know what? They might need to hear it. They
Yeah.
might really need to hear it at that moment in time. They could be really struggling and they're doing their best and putting on that show, that you think everything's fine. And I said, but the problem is we always wait until people die. And then we
Yeah.
then we say things like, and now it's not fear, it's regret. And that regret is, I wish I told that person how awesome they were. I wish I told them how much I loved them, how much they meant to me, all the whatever. And I'm going, well, stop the nonsense. I get it's vulnerability, but there's another saying, it goes, fear is temporary, regret is forever.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to say to you, because it's along the same ideals. And Kaydene, I want to thank you for being on our podcast, and certainly starting off season 2 with such a rock star is absolutely awesome. And we'll talk some more. But anything else that you want to add? Because I loved how you closed that out, but feel free to add to that, or anything else that you want to say, maybe about CLI.
Just to know, well, CLI is a culture based on everyone is equal. And within our office environment, we don't see each other as co-workers. We see each other as brothers and sisters. So if you're going through anything, all of us is passing through the same thing that you are.
I
So we
love it.
try to make it a day where there's just kindness and happiness, lots of it's like a family environment.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always forever telling people the titles don't matter, folks. I said, because we're all working together and we're all doing things, and our job is really just to say, what value can I bring and generate great results on our platform? And that's all that really matters, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not
Yeah.
about us, it's about our clients. But our
And one
philosophy,
of the things that we do here as well too, we take somebody that, there are other places that say, oh, you have to have 10 years of working experience. For me, I'll take somebody fresh out of college with no experience, teach them and say, hey, if you want to go, now you have the tool to go. Because if we're into training, then we should be training other people as well too, not just collecting money to train students to go out there and work. But if you have somebody, let's say they just finished marketing from another school and they're looking for a job, not because they don't have the experience mean we won't hire them. We'll hire them, we'll train them, and if for whatever reason they decide that, you know what, I think it's time to go because I can't have a sense of fulfillment here, then by all means, just go and be awesome wherever you go.
yeah. But the one thing that you did was you inspired this person and you made them feel like, oh, I've got this. Someone's going to give me an opportunity. And now it's incumbent
Yeah.
upon me to show, because the one thing you just cannot train people, and what I always look for is awesome attitude. It is so critical, because everything else can be taught.
Hmm.
But if a person comes in and they have a can do, I want a rock star, I want to be involved, I want to be engaged, I'll take ownership of this, I'll run with this. That's what you want, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Katie, this was great. And I want to thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. It
It
was a
was,
pleasure being here.
yeah. Okay. So this concludes our podcast. Katie, thanks again so much for joining us. And we continue to work with you guys and to basically, have the connections and be able to promote your students. And we'll talk some more about the extra different programs you've taken on. But, to have you on this podcast has been great, because I want our audience to get to know who the amazing Kaydene is and all the things you're doing, which is lovely. So keep it up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you take care. Talk soon.
Okay, bye.